Today's daf is daf Kuf Mem. We are learning here, despite the fact that the Yerusha goes to the sons and not to the daughters, the Chachamim came in and said that the daughters need to be taken care of as well. In fact, it's part of that Ksuva, take care of the kids. So we said as follows: it depends if he left behind lots of assets, the Chosim Rubin, or few assets, the Chosim Watin. If there are lots of assets, then we say that the sons Yarshin and the girls get their sustenance until they either get married or until they become a Begedas till they're 12 and a half years old. If there's no Chosim Watin, then we set aside for the girls to take care of them. And any leftovers beyond that, then the sons get that. So at the end of the day, really, what is the chilik between the two? We'll see them. Says the Gemara, what's the Chosim Rubin, Chosim Watin? Either way, the girls get taken care of. So what exactly is the chilik of the Chosim Rubin, Chosim Watin? So says the Gemara, Pshita, 3 lines on the top. Pshita, that's for certain. Merubin v'nis ma'atu. If you started out when the father passed away, there was lots of assets, and then the value of the assets just depreciated suddenly. There's a market downturn. Is Kvazach ben Yoshin. So the Yoshin were already Zeichen, and therefore the Rashbam learned the Pshat and some other Shayin, that they're already the heirs. So they already took whatever they took, the girls would have a certain amount for the girls, and if it goes down in value, then the boys get hurt, and the girls get hurt. We set aside enough for you, whatever it is, and therefore they get hurt. In other words, we set aside, you need $1,000 of karka to take care of you until you become 12 and a half years old. But now this $1,000 of karka is worth $700. We don't have to supplement it. If whatever it is was fixed at the time of the thing, it all happened. However, that's by Merubin. What I'm watching, Vinis Rabu. So by Rubin is not to a pshita. What about Muatim and Sabo? It was a few assets which we said before goes all to the girls, and any leftovers it goes to the boys. But now there was an increase. So what happens that? Do we say bishus yoshin kaima hilcha bishus yeshuach? Do we say that no? You gave the girls this amount of karka. You said this will take care of you, and now that since you gave it to the girls, and now that it increased in value, maybe the girls should get that increase. Or do we say no? They just need $1,000 worth of karka. If now the amount of karka is worth $2,000, we'll give them less. Do we say that no, the Yoshin are still there and therefore it moves to the Yoshin, they got whatever they need? Or do we say the boys are no longer here, and therefore it's only girls now, and therefore any increase of value, it's a girl's increase of value? Toshma coming here. Now the question is, when we give it to the girls, the pshat is that we push the boys aside completely, or the pshat is they're still there, and the whole idea is just that we make sure that the girls have what they need, and if they don't need as much, then the boys take more. So so how do we understand this relationship of the karka to the boys after, in the case of the Chosim Water, where we say the bonus is Zainu, and the bonim go and knock on the doors? How do we understand now the yachas between these properties and the boys? Do they still have a shaykhs to it, or we cut them off completely, and therefore any increase of value, it's all the girls, or decrease of value, it's all the girls? If they jumped in ahead and they sold it off, whatever they sold, they sold. In other words, it's still theirs. There's a takana chamim, you should take care of the girls, but it's still theirs. If they sold it, they sold it. So if it increases the value, they get the benefit, not the girls. And no, the boys get it. No, but we're saying if the boys jumped in ahead, look at the boys. If kadmu machim and chasim watin, in the chasim watin, where we say, okay, the girls get the lot, and you guys go door knocking. No, don't forget. We're saying here that even in the case of the chasim watin, where we say that all the assets, let's say, go to the girls, it just barely covers what they have to have, and the boys have to go door knocking. It's not the pshat. That's it. They cut them off the Yerusha. They're still the Yoshim. They're still the Yoshim. If they sold it, it's a valid sale. We're not going to unravel that deal. So in Mela, there's an increase in value. Who gets that benefit? The Yoshim. A machlek is Rishonim, when we say Masha Kodmu Mocher, is according to some Rishonim, is dafke before the bezin actually allotted it to the girls. Once the girls were allotted it, they can't sell it. Other Shem hold even after they allotted it to the girls. If they sold it, they sold it. It's a valid sale. And by the way, we have a similar we had a few days ago about a Rasha Orum giving advice in the case of Achrecha. The Gemara Sotah, remember, says exactly the same thing about this piece. In the case of the Chosim Mawatim, if somebody advises the boys, guys, be smart, sell the goods, sell the properties. So this way you don't have to give anything to your sisters because they don't have any, and and then that's it. So then it's Rasha Orum. Because again, he has nothing, no benefit, and he gave advice which is very unethical. The big machlek is the difference of high going here. Minatoida, or always, even Rabbanon, the girls, ksuba, the lien is on the karka. No metalton. When the father passes away, it's the karka that she collects the ksuba from. Then later on, we made a takana that they can also get from metalton. So when you calculate nechasim merubin and nechasim mewatim, do you include the bank accounts and the stocks and the shares and all that, or do we or do we only look at the karka? Because the Rif says we only look at the karka. Why should it be that we made a takana to help the girls out with metalton, and now we're going to use that takana to hurt the boys or hurt them? We don't make a double takana. So that therefore the money is not included in this whole cheshbon to make it merubin or mewatim. There's another interesting discussion. Okay, the boys can sell the property; it's a valid sale. Can the girls now collect their money from the money? Now that we have a takana, that the girls are allowed to collect the ksuba and all these tanai ksuba from not only the nechamot, is it only what the father left behind, the karka? But here they went ahead and they took the karka, they sold it, and they converted it. Can the girls, and there's nothing left for the girls to sustain themselves, but you have a lot of money now. Can they go and collect from the money or not? And a similar machlekes is, according to most within Rav Goin, a malva can only collect, let's say a person dies, the malva has a lien on the property, so we say that the person's nechasim are meshubit to the malva. But the Yisayim is only metaltlin, the metaltlin, the yasmin is not meshubit. In other words, if the guy who died left behind money in the bank, they're not mechuyev al shibud, they're not mechuyev to pay it off. Metaltlin not mechuyev to pay off, only the mechuyev to pay off if there's karka, there's a shibud and karka. So what happens if the Yisayim go ahead very quickly, as soon as the father passes away, they know the loans out there, and they sell all the properties, convert it into money? Can the Baal Chayv take it from there? So the Rosh understood, even within the Bahai Goyin, who says that we add the metalton to the karka when it comes to the ksuba, but in this case over here, the father didn't leave money behind, and this now belongs to the Yisayim. The Baal Chayv has no right to collect it. But the Tur understood of Bahai Goyin that no, that even though you convert it to money, it's the shibut somehow or another, extends to the money of this karka here. So the same machlek would be if the girls can now take, okay, what they sold, but do they have a right now to go and demand from the brothers, use that money to take care of us? That's what we're talking about. We're saying there's still Yoshim. That's the whole point of what we're saying here. That even in the case of the Chosim Mawatim, we made a special takana that the girls Yizaynu, that you use this whatever is that for the girls, and you guys go donaki. Or if there's any extra money, you can use that. That's what the takana here. But we're saying we did not, because Mahatoida, the son's Yashin. This is takana of Chacham to help out the girls. It's difficult to say that the Chacham came along and completely were oiker what the Torah organized. They can scream Haimel Morgan, but they did the wrong thing for selling it. But now that they created money, there was never takana of Chachamim that they should take from the money. The takana was originally from only in karka. It's only because of goyinim, whatever it is, that they take the money as well. So we don't go all the way. Okay, you can see why there's so many machlekes in the families. Because the kids don't want to give away all to the sisters, but it's interesting. The Torah says that the ben should yashin and not the bas, and here comes along the chasm and we took it away from the bens completely and gave it only to the girls. So at least there's a little bit of equality here. All these people say we have they get everything. How many people have nechasim merubin? You would think the majority of people will fall in the category of nechasim mewatim. Anyway, by the Gemara. Tosh Magamania. That's how we did it. Second one about now comes on the Rabbi Yirmiyah asks a whole chain of questions. Yosef Rabbi Yirmiyah Kamed Rabavu, Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabavu, the Kaboy Minei, and he asked a few questions. Tanai Ksuva is that we take from the that the girls have to be taken care of till 12 and a half. But there's another Tanai Ksuva that the widow of the husband, till she gets remarried, takes also. But we said that Almana, for example, doesn't take from the chassan if you sold the chassan. Why? Because Almana has no cap. She can take 10 years till she gets remarried. She can take 20 years. She can never get remarried. So this is, when there's no cap, it's not fair for the lekuchas. They can't protect themselves, and nobody will buy more properties because even if the husband and wife are alive, what happens when the husband dies? And then if they take care of for the properties, so nobody's going to get involved. Nobody's going to get involved. So therefore, especially after the husband dies, nobody's going to buy any properties from these people, and they're going to be stuck. All this land, they can't do anything with it. So yes, Rabbi Mekameh, but when asked the following questions, a whole line of questions. But each question is predicated on the previous question. Alman Nusi. Okay, he has daughters, sons, daughters, and a widow. Ma'u shetamayi ben chasim. So he has a certain amount in the chasim. Sons, daughters. So the daughters have to. It's chasim merubim right now. So the chasim merubim, the sons, according to the Shoshain in one of the Chalukim and the Berubim Moatzin, is that in Merubim, like the Rosh says over here, the sons take care. The sons take care of. It's in their control. Obviously, they have a responsibility to take care of the sister, but they're in total control. If in the Chasim and Moatzin, we take the whole property away from them, and the Bezin stands there and takes. And it's like a trust, and we get an executor to make sure the girls are taken care of because of the Chasim and Moatzin. So what happens if you have the Chasim Merubim? But if you add the money that you have to give also to the widow, and you reduce, then take it off, deduct the daughters of this from the amount, suddenly become the chasam water. So how do we treat that? Do we compound it? Do we take that the almana with it, with the the daughters, and therefore becomes mortin or not? So in other words, there is enough exactly for the sons and daughters. The moment you add the almana to it, it reduces it to the chasam. It's no longer enough for the sons and the daughters. So then do we say that's it? The daughters take everything, and the mother, and the sons have to go door knocking. How do we view it? What's going? Me Amrina, do we say? Even these since she's entitled to as well, you compounded. I deal with even deal mitzvah. But since there's no time limit, what happens 6 months later, or after 3 months, she decides to get, or after 9 days, she decides to get, 9 days, she decides to get married, then there's no more any more obligation. So here, this is a loose, this is very loose. We have no idea how long it is. So do we say because it's so nebulous, because it's so unclear, her shibud, maybe it doesn't count until it actually happens. Since she gets married, then even as if because could be tomorrow she'll get married and she's gone. So therefore, you cannot deal. You only deal with her situation as it unfolds, but you can't use it and make a cheshbon. Oh, well, to take care of her for 5 years will cost X amount of dollars, and therefore we'll add it on to the girls. You can't do that. Who said it'll be 5 years? Okay, so im tim and if you're going to say. I know the rule, the famous rule in Australia, that's probably the way the Gemara is leaning. And since we're going to have 2 different versions of the Gemara, here we have 2 different kinds of intim slenders. If you want to say, let's say the following. Let's imagine she's not here because since if she gets married, if she gets married very soon, if she gets married, there's no connection anymore. So how should not be less? Imagine that she's not there. Okay, so what about Bas Ishta? It's not his daughter. He married a woman that already had an existing kid, and he gave her a ksubas, again, in the ksubas, he promised the Tanai ksubas that he is going to take care of this woman's daughter for 5 years. Now, the difference is when you say you'll take care of this woman's daughter for 5 years, 5 years, we don't care if she gets remarried or not remarried because you wrote in the ksubah, you didn't say as long as she's single. You said I'll take care of her for 5 years. So therefore, it's much stronger. Her shibud is much stronger in the case of Amana. Amana, every day you say, oh, maybe today she'll get married. And therefore, it's tenuous. Mashenk in her is fixed for 5 years. So do we say, because it's fixed for 5 years, mamish is a chayiv there, and let's add it to his own daughters. And therefore, we will say that it now becomes the chasam watching because it's a fixed chayiv. Meaning, keeping the chiminza, even she gets married, Nami Isla, she's still entitled to get for Mata, we compounded, or Yilma keeping Ila Mesa Lesla, or do we say, since if she dies, it's still a bit tenuous. It's not such a fixed thing. It's not like other cases where it goes to the Yershim. It doesn't go to her Yershim. My deal is with your daughter. If the daughter passes away, no one else gets that money. I'm putted. So therefore, it's not really a fixed. It's more fixed than Almana, but not so fixed. And therefore, below might and Lama might. And therefore it's considered Chasim Rubin. The sons have total control, and they take care of their sisters themselves. The Im Tinflem, and if you want to say Kiv and the Ilamesa Lesla, if you want to say the fact of the matter is it's not 100% ironclad because she can lose the whole thing if she passes away before the 5 years. What about Bal Chayv? By Bal Chayv, even if he dies, his children are still owed the money. So here's mamish the fixed chayv. So what happens is a bal chayv who's owed $100? Do we add that chayv of $100 together with how much it costs to take care of the girls? You add the two together, it's no longer chasim rubin. There's no longer an abundant amount of assets there, and therefore we'll treat like the chasim muatin. The children no longer have control, and the girls are now in charge, or have to set aside. What about Chayv? We say Kim the Chimai is Nami Islam the Chayv is always there. It doesn't matter if he's alive or not alive, it's always there. Or do we say Kivin the Mechasa Gavina, the fact that he didn't collect it yet, it's just a Chayv, Loy Memayit. He's not Memayit. It's not by a child, for example. All the other cases also didn't collect yet. But there, it's like an intrinsic part of the family. Here, there's a total stranger, and Kole's man, the Chayiv, wasn't paid yet. You haven't taken yet. As your famous Gemara there, we paskin in Psachid of Laman Aleph. Itma Bal Chayiv, according to Rava, and that's Allah. Mekanu lahabogay. What happens if the lender who has a lien on the property says during the time he didn't collect the property yet, he says, "I want the property to become hegdish," and then later he collected the property. So do we say since he had a shibud on this property and he made it hegdish become hegdish? And the Rabbi says no, because Balchay Mikan Lahaboga, he has no connection to that property until he physically collects it. There's this makavdika thing that's hanging over the property, but it's not chelik of the property. So therefore, Balchay, maybe we'll treat it even that we don't compound it. The fact is that he has no yet shaykhs to the nechasim. It's still considered nechasim rubi. So Balchay Mao. Okay, so that's one way. The Ika, so according to this way, the general inclination is to say that if we can somehow or another remove you from the property, you have no shaykhis to the whole deal, and therefore, if it's nechasim or rubin, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't affect the amount of nechasim until you physically collect. That's the way, the first gang, that's the first mahalach. Now the Gemara says there's another mahalach which was opposite. The Ika the those that go the other way around. And the inclination is pumfaket. Bal Chayv Maushi might start the other way around. A Bal Chayv is even Mai ben Chasim. Is a Bal Chayv and Mai ben Chasim. In this case, when we say the Bal Chayv Mai ben Chasim, we say that but maybe he is a Mai ben Chasim because generally speaking, the Chayv is there. He dies, he's still connected. So now the leaning is if you have any shaykhs to the property, you're included already in the cheshbon and will make the Chasim. So Bal Chayv is the stronger shaykh. Even if he dies, he still collects. The only thing is he didn't collect physically yet. So okay, let's say you'll tell me that no, he has a strong enough shaykhs to affect it overall in the Chasim. What about Bas Ishtay? Bas Ishtay is a little bit less because if she dies, she's gone. Ma'u. Or Shetamayim l'chasim. Or even if you tell me that Bas Ishtay isn't made because other than dying, she's fixed for 5 years, and the chances of her dying are pretty slim at such a young age. She's fixed for 5 years, so therefore she has a connection, and overall it reduces the nechasim rubim to nechasim watin. What about Almanaseh? Mahu. Over there it's even less because if she gets married tomorrow, she has nothing. So and so these are two different ways of learning, and therefore depending which way you learn, Im Tim Shalom is very important because the halacha is Im Tim Shalom until the very end. Now I'm going to ask another question. What about you have an almona and you have a bas? You only have enough food for what they're both tonight. We're talking about a case not where there's no son. No, his daughter. So you have his daughter Mataydi has sons, they get. Now, boss, you have to sustain your daughters. But you also have a takana to sustain your wife. There's only enough money for one. Who gets precedence? They both come to collect based on Tanai Ksuba. We're not talking about a case where there were no sons and only girls. So then how tell you they actually talking about a case where it's only the Rabban. Either man Kedemis. Who has a stronger entitlement between the two? One, it's not for one.
Right, but enough for one day. Like
no, they're not enough for a while. We said before. That's exactly the machlek we had in Neshech. You have a jug of water, and there's not enough for both of them to both of them. So what should you do? The Pesach said, you're out in the midbar. The Pesach said, you got to split it. The Kiva says, no, it's exactly the same case here. There's not enough money for both. There's enough money for one. Well, the truth of the matter, you're right. How do you work out for Alman is enough money? Unless you work out like this. The girl until she's 12 and a half years old. She's now 8 years old. So you have enough money for 4.5 years. So so either those 4.5 years we can take care of the Almana, or the 4.5 years we take care of the Bas. Who do we take care of? Okay, so that's the question. So he told him, Babu told Rabbi Yirmiyah, Zilina, I got to think about this. Go away, and come back tomorrow. Let me think about this. Kiyasa, when he came back, Amalei, he said, "Show me a chad. From all the questions you asked, I can resolve at least the last one." The Amar Babu, Amar Abasi, Asu Almana Eitzel Habas. We will treat the relationship of Almana to this estate when there's a daughter there, Kebas Eitzel Achin, the daughter when the brothers. Then the Chasimot, what we live for my Chasimot, we take away from the brothers and we give it to the daughter. When it comes to the Chasimot, there's an Almana and a Bas, we'll take away from the Bas and give it to Almana. My bas is lachen, a bas is only lachen, shol up sochim. Af almana it's a bas. When it comes to almana is only the habas tishol up sochim, and that the girl go out there and collect. So almana gets precedence, his wife, because in a way, whatever happens to almana is also a reflection on the husband. It's how you take care of your wife. So even though he passed away already, it's covered. Hames is more covered if his wife is not homeless. Rather than his daughters. Okay, so they want to write Admin. Remember the Mishnah of Israel. You don't think so?
Maybe it's just a way for the mothers to repeat. Just a way of making
Almana doesn't have to be the mother of the daughters. Almana can be another one of his wives. Now Admin said they finished the Mishnah off because he's not happy because I'm a male. I should get nothing. Right? Remember, there's only enough money for the bastard. Your son gets nothing. The Bishul on his Zachiv Sarati, and I really like what he said. My karma. What's he saying? I'm going to buy. He said, I'll tell you what he's saying. Bishvil Shani, no, but he's saying, I should be superior, and you treat me inferior. Why should Ben be superior? So the Bible is this. Bishvil Shani Zachiv and Ilasa because I'm a Zachar and I have an inyan of learning Torah. And therefore, because I'm learning Torah, you take away my money from me. How am I going to support myself? No, but as if to say, because he learns Torah, somehow or another he has a title to more of Yerusha, and that's his Taina. So following your logic, you say the guy has two sons. One is a masmid and one isn't. So Manda Osig B'Torah, are you saying that the one who learns Torah is entitled to bigger Yerusha or more Yerusha than the lawyers in B'Torah? The one who doesn't learn Torah should not be entitled to Torah. So even the Torah does say there's a mitzvah to take care of your son who sits and learns Torah and take care of him, but it's not the dinim of Yerusha. Now we're talking about the dinim of Yerusha. Also, the dinim of Yerusha, nowhere to Torah make a distinction between whether you're a Talmud Chacham or Torah, not Torah. There's a separate thing. There's a mitzvah to take care of your son. They should be able to learn Torah. Elam Rabba. This is what Abba said. What's my superiority? When it comes to Chasim Merubin, I'm the Yiddish, not the girls. So when there's a Chasim Mawatin, I lose that completely. It's not fair. And that's what Adman said. If Adman is right or not right. And others, in fact, to say Adman's not even arguing. Adman is just making a statement. He finds it odd. He finds it, difficult to accept in logic, but this is how it is. And Gamliel then agrees. I also find it difficult in logic. Why should it be that the son is the real Yiddish, the Chas Reuben, he's total control, and the Chas Motim, we take it all away from him? Doesn't sound right. Everything should be at least proportional. Whose side are you on? Okay. Says the Gemara further. Iniach bonim ubonis, a person left behind children, girls and boys, with tumtum. But he had one child that's a tumtum. Tumtum is that the skin grafted over it, and we have no idea, male or female. Definitely, only one of them, but we don't know. In fact, there's an opinion, as we'll see later, that a berry b'fnatzma, separate species. In those days, when you talk about another gender, the whole idea was so distinct. But if you look today, how many choices you have when they ask you gender, I don't. You need a separate page just for the genders. So tumtum, and the question is, where does the tumtum fit in? In which category? Remember the chasim rubin, the chasim martin. Where does the tumtum fit in? Is bisman shana chasim rubin, when the chasim rubin, right? So the boys have the own chasim, and they get all the benefits. They just have to take care of the girls. Hascharim doichenoi says the caves, and then he comes and says, "Oh, I also want a chelik." You say, "Maybe you're a girl. You're a suffix. Why should you have it? You prove you're a boy, you'll get a chelik." In the case of chasim muatin, the money gets transferred. Okay, is a girl. So the chasim muatin, in the case there where the girls get basically everything, and he says that he comes to the girls and no, I want a chelik. How the caves they say, "Maybe you're a boy. Leave us alone." So the Gemara will explain what it means. The Gemara says. So the question is, when the Mishnah said in the beginning that they move into the girls, does he at least get like a girl? You know, because in the Nechasim Merubim, the boys get whatever, the Nechasim Merubim, and the girls get the Mezainis. So when we say we push him away from the boys, so does he at least get equal to the girls? Because it says right afterwards he doesn't get from the girls either. They push him back to the boys. So where does he get from? Kedach Mekan and Kedach Mekan. We'll soon see. He's not into the tumtums. If somebody says, if my wife has a boy, I'll give $100. He'll then take $100. She gave birth to a boy. No, it's only a boy. He gets $100. For a girl, you get nothing. What happens at the old in the cave? So the cave Messiah. If the girls get $200, the old in the cave Thomas I get $200. Im Zachar Mana im the cave Messiah. He said, look, a boy, I'm giving 100. The first case was he only said one boy, only said girl, and we didn't know what it was. Now he's saying, if it's a boy, like this, if it's a girl, like this, and the older Zacha Unikeva, he gave birth to a Zacha and a Keva. The Rashbam already said we're not talking about twins here, but he gave either birth to one or the other. He's Noitil Zacha Noitil Mana and the Keva and the Tel Messiah. Exactly what he said. Yolda Tumtum, leading into the case about what did he give birth to Tumtum. So you would argue, Marashach, he's a Zachar and a Keva, give him at least the 100. Give him, the lesser amount. At least that. Eight gives nothing. And this will be because of Berry Rifnatzli, not a Zachar or a Keva. If he says, I don't care what my wife gives birth, whatever they should be entitled to this, then there's a Yitzhak. We made some Yedishel who he's the only child, then Yedish Zakar. Of course he's a child, and he answers everything. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. The first part of the Mishnah says that if the Nechasim Merubim, when he goes to the boys, I want a chelik, and they push him off to the girls. So he's like a girl. Sounds like he gets like a girl. Hoktan, he said, but then the next day he said about Nechasim Merubim, that a tumtum does not get at all. A tumtum is not even a girl either. Or later on, it says if he says in a keva gets to another, it's not true like in the keva. Beginning of the Mishnah sounds like he's not a zocher but in the keva, and later in the Mishnah sounds like he's not in the keva. So I'm going to buy it. I say right, he's neither. You push him away, but he gets nothing because each one says prove who you are. Otherwise, you get nothing. Rava says no, the first part of the Mishnah holds the boys push him away to the girl, and he does get mezonos like a girl. How come later in the Mishnah says that's what say if he says a boy will get this, a girl will get this, and he gets nothing, right? It says over here by a boy will get $100, a girl $200, and he gets nothing. Interesting that for a girl he gets a lot more money than for a boy. So you see that there's a lot of sensitivities here. So he says in Mishnah gets nothing. Why should he get nothing? At least if he's a girl, give him the 200. Or at least he says, we don't know, we'll give him the lesser amount. Like in the first case in Mishnah, you give him like a girl. So give him 100. He says, you know why? Because that also that follows the view of Hashem Gamliel that says it's a very big matter. So what's the story? Tanya, in the Sefer is the case of a Balacha, give 100. In the cave,
second part of the first part. It says
yeah, that's the Chasam Water. It's a separate case altogether. So from there it sounds like that he always gets a lesser amount. So notice, the first case is, wait, overlook. The first case is, he said, give me the Chasam Rubin. I want a big thing. They said, no, you're like a girl. And he gets. Mazayin is like a girl. In the Chasam Water, where the girls get everything and the boys get only peanuts, whatever's left over above that. So and he wants to go with the girls who gets more money. They say, no, maybe your boy. So he'll always get the lesser amount. Because it's a suffix. Yeah, because of suffix, he gets a lesser amount. But in the last part of the Mishnah, he says, Zochazeh, Nikebazeh, and Tumtum gets nothing. It means something. It's not a question of a suffix. He's neither. Says the Gemara. The time we learned, Yolda Tumtum Vaduregin is Shimon Galaim ain't Kedusha Chalal. Shimon says that there's no Kedusha on that at all. He's talking about over here is that you said about behemoth. You want to, you don't want to give the animal away as a b'chor. Right, the firstborn is a b'chor, and you have to give it to the kohen. So what you do is you say as follows: when does the b'chor start? Well, then knows himself b'chor. When does the b'chor start? A b'chor starts only after the animal, as soon as the animal comes out of the womb. So while the uber is still inside the mother's womb, he says, you know what? I want to be an oiva, or in the cave, I want to be a shlamim. I want it to be. I have a chayv to give an oila anyway. I want this to be my oila, or I want to give it some. I don't want it to be a chayv, and you can do that. If we use a marim, you want to be underhand slide, but technically you can do all that. But what happens comes out of the animal is a tumtum, not a zocher and not a nekeva. It says there's no kedusha chalon at all. There's not even a suffix kedusha. Why? Because it's a third species. It's a third gender. Then the Gemara makes a question. Tumtum. It says in the Braise, the person died and left behind assets. Tumtum yedish keben. A tumtum yarshin is like a son, and venizin kibas. From here it sounds like he gets both milas, not he gets both. So he gets both milas. He'll get the Yerusha like a son, and he'll be treated like a daughter, like both. And Reginus has both simonim, so we'd say that maybe you can understand. But Tumtum is really only one of them. The question is which one? We don't know. So what's that? So according to the I can understand the Braisa. There's two different cases. When it comes to the Chasim Moatid, he yashes like a son. The Nizan Kibas with the Chasim Rubin. But when do we say that he's like a bas? If it's the Chasim Rubin, he gets a lesser amount. By the way, it's a big machlekes in the Rishonim. Some of Nachrim are died here a little bit as well. When we say that the bas gets these assets, where what did they get it? Is it a din Yerusha or is it a din like in Zaka? And the nafkamin is halacha if it's in Yerusha and then whatever the din of Yoshima, or is it din like the Yerusha is not shaykh to bas? The Torah says there's no Yerusha by bas of that bonim. And the Chacham Takan was not. In this case, we want them to yarshin, the food that they need, but rather it's purely like it's nothing to do with Yerusha. And in fact, you see the lashon here. So a little bit they want to bring it to say you see a distinction here between the yachas. But whatever it is, I can understand. Baya said that they get that what? That he's not entitled to nishdos and nishdos, not with the boys and not with the girls. My nizan kibas. What do you mean he gets like a daughter? When does he nizan like a bas? You said they push him away and he gets nothing. Says the Gemara, the Rava, according to you, you think Rava is better. My Yiddish ben. It says he gets like a ben. Why do you have to say Yiddish ben? He is a ben. You're telling me, what is the point of saying that Yiddish ben? He doesn't get the Yiddish ben. You're just telling me that he goes to the bas. He's like a bas, right? Rava says when it comes to the ben, they push him over to the bas. So if they push him over to the bas, he's not Yiddish like a ben. Right? Because Yiddish Kibben, but he doesn't get it. Ella Roll Yiddish. He is road to Yashin. No, if in certain situations he should have Yashin like a Ben, but he won't Lepoil because we're going to push him off to the bus, and he'll be Nizin like a bus. Even though it says here Yoidish Keben, is Ein Hachinami Raul Lizim Ein Loy. Say by me. In theory, he's a boy or a girl. So he's one or the other. He should be getting something. But probably he's not getting something because there's something each one's going to push him away. The girl will tell you you're a boy, the boy will tell you you're a girl, and therefore you get the outcome is you get nothing. But in theory, you should be shy for something. Okay, we'll stop here.